All right, welcome back to ToledoWalleye.com. Time for another edition of Upstream with the head coach of your Toledo Walleye, Nick Vitucci. And Coach, of course, Cincinnati won the Kelly Cup this year, defeating Idaho 4-1 after they did that down 3-0 to Reading to come back to win the Kelly Cup, not the Stanley Cup. Philly, Chicago were battling for that, but. You look at Cincinnati and what they were able to do in the postseason. Is that kind of the team you might want to try to build here in the next couple of years? One that's so sound defensively and good goaltending.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I mean, they've had a great run here in the last 3 years, winning 2 championships, and that was broken up by Chuck Weber in the middle year, winning Coach of the Year. I talked to him a couple days afterwards, and I told him I was tired of congratulating him for things, but Chuck's done a great job down there with Cincinnati. And you know, the one great thing about that hockey club is year after year they bring back a good amount of players from the year before, and he's had a nice core of players there for 4 or 5 years. Barrett Eggets, who we know from training camp with the Storm in our last season, he's been a mainstay there, and he's got a bunch of other players that have been there for quite a while. And I think that's what it takes to win a championship in our league, is to get a good amount of guys who get it, who may not have a lot of upside to go to the American Hockey League, but they're very good players at our level and take pride in success at our level. And it's not a bad recipe to have, and it's a blueprint that they've followed here for the past 4 or 5 years with great success.
And that's kind of where I wanted to lead you in this one a little bit, as I figured you might talk about that core group of players that the Cyclones seem to bring back every year. Let's talk about the team you were looking at last year.
Yep.
You did end up protecting 12 players. Of those guys, who do you kind of leaning towards maybe bringing back?
Well, there's a good amount of players I'd like to have back. Scooter Smith, who I've known for quite a while and played with us in the Storm days. I thought as the year went on, he got better and better. He got his ECHL game legs back under him, and it was a contributor on both sides of the rink. Mikey Hedden, I thought, did a nice job in year 1 and is only going to get better. Evan Rankin obviously had a fantastic season. Sal Peralta, I liked bringing him in at the end of the year, and he was almost a point-a-game player for us once he got with us. Chris Zarb, I know he struggled a little bit at year's end, but really in the last couple games of the playoffs got in and really played well, and I like that about him. Chris Robertson, somebody that not sure where his interests lie for next season, but a good competitive guy who's a good team player, and somebody that I'd certainly like to have back as well. Adam Keefe, if things don't work out for him at the American League level, how don't you want a guy like Adam Keefe back? So, there's 7 or 8 players that I'd like to bring back from last year's team. I'd like to maybe grab another 4 or 5 guys that are playing pro hockey somewhere, whether it's in the ECHL or the IHL or the CHL. And, if you look at about a dozen players who we're familiar with at the pro level, and now you're getting your contracted players sent down from your affiliates, you've got a strong enough core of guys who get it, who can play at our level, be successful at our level, very good leadership players that, regardless of who you get sent down now, they'll follow what's already in place. If they don't, chances are somebody out of that core that you've already signed may reach out and bang them in the mouth if they don't. But and not that we want that to happen. But I think if you can build a strong enough core, Matt, and then let the contracts come down and fill the rest of the roster, you should be in good shape. And the one thing going into this year was we didn't have that luxury of having a core, and now we do.
All right, Coach, appreciate the time, as always, joining us here on ToledoWalleye.com. Don't forget 2010-2011 season tickets on sale right now, right here at ToledoWalleye.com. And we'll see you coming up, of course, at the new Huntington Center down in October for Game 1 of the second season of Toledo Walleye Hockey. All right, we'll see you again on Upstream. Keep tuning in right here to ToledoWalleye.com.